Here are some more useful tips for PTE AV Studio. Now, as we're working in the timeline, as I am here, we can export our entire soundtrack to one MP3 or WAV file. Now, I tend to use it to carry out noise suppression in my commentary. Now, you can see here I've got a few commentary takes and a piece of music. So what I would do here is to right-click over the music and just temporarily mute that. Then within the timeline, I can go to this option here and export the entire soundtrack, which now is just the commentary, to a separate file. And I get the opportunity to choose MP3, WAV, and I have a bit rate too, which generally I leave at 256. When I click OK, it will normally go to the folder you're working from. So all you need to do is to save, and there you can see it's completed. Now, it's far easier for me to do any noise suppression with just one sound file rather than perhaps 20. But I'm sure there's going to be many other good uses for this option. One of the options in PTE AV Studio I use almost all the time is being able to change a video or image file. From the slide list or the timeline, we can change an image or a video from a completed show or maybe a work in progress without affecting slide duration, the synchronization to our sound file, or any animation at all. If the Change Image File option isn't available at the top of the screen, go to your Settings, Preferences, and Toolbars, and tick the little box and it'll appear. Now, once it does, if I select the sunflowers here, even though they're part of an animated sequence here, as you can see, if I just select the main image, I can go to Change Image File. I'm taken to my project folder, so if I wanted to swap that for something completely different, I can just double click and there it is done. Nothing else has been changed, just the image has been swapped. Now, we can also do the same thing if we're working in the objects and animation screen with an image that may have multiple images attached to it, as this one has. So if I wanted to change this particular flower, what I can do is to go over to the right hand side, select the one I want to change, go to the Properties, Picture, and here once again we're taken back to our project folder. So if I wanted to change it for something else, I can double click, but nothing has been changed apart from the image. Another great option in the Objects and Animation screen is to be able to show the sound WAV file. Now, that's going to help enormously to match animation to your soundtrack. Now, the option to turn that on is in the Tools button bottom right, but probably the quicker way is the little WAV file icon over on the left hand side. And as soon as I click it, you can see both my track 1, which is the audio, the commentary. Track 2 is the music. So if we needed to line up any of these keyframes, we can do so much more visually than just doing it by ear. Whenever we're working on a project or we've just added some animation, in my view, there's nothing better than a full screen preview of what we've just done. Now, we can run that full screen preview in the slide list from any slide we select. From this little icon over on the right hand side, just select any slide you want and click, and you'll be opened up full screen and you can see your work. In the timeline, we can do exactly the same thing with exactly the same icon, but here we can place the cursor wherever we want the full screen preview to begin. Here we're back in the Objects and Animation screen, and as you can see, I've got 7 images over the top of a background. From PTE AV Studio 11, we can now change the stacking order of any of these images with drag and drop. Previously, we would have to right-click and use the page up, page down option. Now, for example, I've made this cool blue image a little bit bigger than it should be, but you can see being at the top of the stack here, it's showing over the top of the other images. I can now select that and drag it right the way down to the bottom. When I see the blue line, I release, and I've just changed the stacking order. But we can also use click, drag and drop now to create that parent and child relationship. If I pick up cool blue again, as I move up we can see the blue line, but then sunburst gets highlighted. Then we have a blue line, so if I dropped it here, it's going to sit below yellow, but if I maybe drag it up further and stop over orange, well now cool blue becomes a child of the parent orange. All very convenient. That's all for now. I'll see you next time.